records documenting cases of time travel occurring while people are performing daily tasks. To date, science has yet to provide any satisfactory explanation for this mysterious phenomenon. Albert Einstein's astonishing legacy includes over 300 scientific papers that continue to influence the world more than half a century after his death. And while Einstein redefined our understanding of the universe, perhaps his greatest contribution to humanity is time travel. It was Einstein's special relativity, the speed of light, and general relativity that opened up the possibility for actual time travel. Some scientists today believe that Einstein's relativity creates the possibility of travel through a gateway or wormhole called the Einstein-Rosen bridge, a true space anomaly that could be a gateway to parallel universes. Professor of Physics and Astronomy Michael Denning from the University of California said, "In general relativity theory, space actually behaves like something that you can bend, twist, and create holes within." So, the Einstein-Rosen bridge is a specific example of a wormhole. And a wormhole is a structure in space-time involves tearing a hole in space, then stretching matter. If you consider space as matter and reconnect it elsewhere, the Einstein-Rosen bridge takes 2 points in space and links them. So if you enter one end, you'll emerge at the other. Although those 2 points may appear to be in different universes, essentially, it's an instantaneous displacement of something that allows you to move immediately between 2 distant places. Could Einstein's theoretical wormhole actually serve as a gateway to another universe? And could it open a gateway that one day would establish communication between humans and aliens? When we consider the idea that there are wormholes and they are actually accepted by some of the planet's most outstanding individuals, what you begin to notice is that all these pieces suggest that there is intelligent life somewhere in the universe, and also a possibility, or a likelihood that we have had contact in the past, or are having contact now, or may also have contact in the future. Was Albert Einstein's great work truly a lifelong effort aimed at establishing a relationship with aliens? Did beings from another world provide him with information on how to transcend both space and time? If so, why? Author Philippe Corbins argues that we see the greatest discoveries across time and space do not come from hard work or laborious effort, but rather genius somehow can access a field, and that field can download a lot of information for them and make them remembered forever as geniuses. In history, there are some individuals who possess truly astonishing genius, as if they could see the future, and they not only influenced the world then and the future, but what they were about to do would significantly change the world forever. We tend to think of civilization as a flow of information, that somehow, through the flow of time, we have progressed. But that's not actually the case. We have made great leaps forward, because during those times there were certain geniuses living. Are aliens enhancing the cognitive abilities of a select few to help further develop human civilization, as some ancient astronaut theorists believe? Could this explain Albert Einstein's unique neural structure? Is it merely a coincidence that the brain, considered the greatest in world history, has a higher density of glial cells and a wider parietal lobe than normal human brains, and is as healthy as a young person's brain, even though he had already passed away? That is extraordinary evidence. If we could study the brains of other geniuses, like Isaac Newton, Nikola Tesla, and perhaps even Stephen Hawking today, we might see their brains are also significantly different from normal people. It seems there's something in the DNA that makes us develop in a certain direction, and it appears that normal people also possess some genetic factors that could potentially turn them into geniuses, and certainly Einstein was one of them. But what makes this work remains beyond our ability to explain. The Mahabharata, in India's sacred texts, was written in the 8th century BC. King Ravida is described as having traveled to heaven to meet the creator god Brahma, then returned to Earth hundreds of years later in the future. Some researchers believe this Hindu story might be one of the oldest records of successful time travel from ancient times. American author David Tourette explains, there's the story of King Radita, who was taken into space to meet the gods. When returning to Earth, he found many eras had passed and it had been hundreds of years. This is exactly what would happen to space travelers and time travelers. You think you're only gone for a few days, but when you return to Earth, you discover you've been absent for hundreds of years. Like the Chaco Canyon legend, similar stories of time travel can be found throughout the ancient world. In Japan, the legend of Urashima Taro details a fisherman's visit to the sea guardian god Ryujin in the underwater palace for what seemed like only 3 days. When returning to his fishing village, he realized he had been absent for 300 years, and his home had crumbled. Everyone he knew had long passed away. No one had ever been his family. In the Jewish Bible, the description of the prophet Jeremiah in Jerusalem strangely resembles both of these time travel stories. Right in the Bible, the prophet Jeremiah sits with some friends, and there's a young girl named Abimelech. Jeremiah tells Abimelech to go outside Jerusalem, where there's a hill, and pick figs for them. The girl goes out and picks fresh figs. Suddenly, Abimelech hears noise and wind in the air, then she faints. She loses consciousness, wakes up after a while and finds it's almost dark. So Abimelech runs back to the city, but it's full of strange soldiers. And she exclaims, "What's happening here? Where are Jeremiah and the others?" An old man says, "That was 62 years ago." That's a time travel story recorded in the Bible. In southern Egypt, Agakia Island, just 9 kilometers upstream from Aswan. In the Sanel Alley, there's the Temple of Isis, built in the 4th century BC. The temple was the center of worship for Egypt's goddess of fertility and nature until the 6th century AD. Isis became the most important goddess that ancient Egypt ever had. She married her brother Osiris, and together, they truly became the ideal couple that everyone aspired to. She was considered the symbol of life, while Osiris was considered the god ruling over death. So, whether you are alive or deceased, you can always empathize with Isis and Osiris. In the beliefs of ancient Egyptians, the goddess Isis was revered as the celestial mother, and considered the soul of the brightest star in the sky, Sirius. To the ancient Egyptians, Osiris was Orion. And this constellation truly embodies the living presence of the great god Osiris. Sirius represents Isis, who is both the wife, sister, and companion of Osiris. Essentially, together they rule the sky and the lives of the Egyptian people. Many ancient cultures, including Egypt, China, Greece, and Japan, hold beliefs and legends that the creator gods who made us all came from Sirius. And this star was extremely important to most ancient cultures. Author William Henry states that this knowledge originally appeared in ancient Egypt, and in Africa with the Dogon tribe, who taught that light beings from Sirius created humanity. Clearly, many cultures possess information about Sirius, and they separate Sirius from everything else, unrelated to its brightness. It relates to the fact that, somehow, Sirius is responsible for sending messengers to educate us. At the Singapore Air Show in February 2014, an Israeli military company named Rafael Advanced Defense System revealed details of a laser defense system capable of shooting down missiles from the sky with energy pulses. This future military hardware is called Iron Beam. The Iron Beam concept is essentially a high-energy laser designed to rapidly heat up targets. Aircraft, drones, missiles, anything that could attack a city can be destroyed in mid-air by Iron Beam. This sounds very similar to Tesla's death ray. Author David Schurz says this is exactly the type of technology Tesla mentioned in the 1920s and 1930s about using beam weapons to shoot down missiles and artillery shells. The War Department supported Einstein and Oppenheimer's atomic bomb, not Tesla. But now, we see Israel developing this beam technology. as they realize nuclear weapons are too destructive. Did Tesla develop time viewing or time travel technology and foresee these advancements? The present is theirs, but the future for which I truly strive is mine. In reality, could Tesla see the future? Perhaps Iron Beam is evidence that the Death Ray plan not only existed but was seized and implemented by the US government. Some believe Nikola Tesla not only had contact with aliens but was sent to Earth by them to complete a mission and usher in a new era for humanity. One of the big questions is, who is Tesla? In a sense, is he an embodiment or an enlightened being sent to Earth to assist humans? No one really knows exactly what's happening, but all great artists, and Tesla considered himself an artist, feel their tools have a higher purpose, and Tesla certainly felt he was working in that direction. Rabbi Arapazadot, founder of the Corsatora school, argues there is an agenda for humanity. There is a plan, and in every generation, whatever force is behind the plan sends certain specific souls to Earth. These individuals are born with better inclinations and can receive advanced knowledge. At Stumped in January 2012, in the laboratory at State University, theoretical physicist Ron O'Malley demonstrated a large-scale model of a time machine, using a device called a ring laser that produces circulating light beams. Professor Hope was able to demonstrate that twisted light actually bends space, forming a time loop. Currently, what? Though you can't see it, are actually creating a form of circulating light. And that circulating light pattern is actually twisting space here. The twisting of space will ultimately lead to a twisting of time. In Einstein's theory, the two are closely linked. And that time twist will be where time travel occurs. Because if you consider time as a straight line, then if we twist space, what will eventually happen is that space will twist time into a loop. So, the breakthrough in my work is using light to control time, and actually enable the possibility of reversing time with light. Although this is just a prototype, Malik believes he can create a working time machine within just 10 years. He believes the energy of a light beam will create a gravitational field strong enough to pull a particle spinning through time. He said, suppose I call spin up as 1 and I call spin down as 0. Imagine I set a stream of particles with spin up, spin up, spin down, spin up. What is that? That's binary code. So by using the spin of particles, I can send a binary code. This code can be translated into a message. But ultimately, can this technology send larger objects through time, like humans or spacecraft? Einstein's theory of relativity allows for the creation of so-called Einstein-Rosen, which we today call wormholes. It opens up a possibility that we could travel from point A to point B, somewhere else in the universe, as if nothing is here. So if instantaneous travel exists, from one end of the universe to the other, through wormholes, is there any evidence that such technology was used in the distant past? Author Kilian Henry claims that ancient Egyptians knew about traveling through stargates and wormholes. The evidence I discovered is at the Hathor Temple in Dendera. When entering this temple, you will look at the ceiling, called the astronomical ceiling, and you'll see gods as celestial light beings traveling on their eternal ship. And it suggests to me that ancient people didn't use the term wormhole for these time travel portals, but we're clearly talking about the same thing.